See in the red t-shirt.
Oh, hello.
Okay, so starting in 5. So that's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're turning the camera around and we're flipping it over to landscape. Okay, Tasha would like to turn it. So for our first book today, we are going to read about a little boy and the adventure he has in his tree house. Tasha, on the mat, please.
Mama, but
Thank
he's
you.
so big. Look.
Yes, so this is Duncan's Tree House by Amanda Vesey. And this is about a boy who has a tree house and how he spends his time in the tree house and what all he does there. So let's find out. So see, that's the tree house. It has a window, it has a door, and of course it has a roof. Looks quite nice and big, no?
And has
Let's see. On his birthday, Duncan's parents gave him a tree house. Duncan's father was a builder. He had made the tree house in his workshop and he had fixed it to the tree the night before Duncan's birthday when Duncan was asleep. It was a complete surprise to Duncan. So see that now. He woke up on his birthday morning and what a big surprise he found. Have you all ever had a surprise on your birthday morning when you woken up? Tasha, have you had any surprise on your birthday or even otherwise? No? Really?
No.
Who got the big dollhouse? Okay, moving on. Wow. Now that's his room in the tree house. It has a bed with a shelf and a table and a chair, and it has a chest. Wow. Inside the tree house was a camp bed. That's his bed, and a rug, and a table and a chair, and a shelf with cups and plates on it. There was a bookcase and a tin box for keeping things in. The window had real glass on it and opened and shut. My God, this is as good as any other room, no? It's so well equipped and it's quite fancy. Very nice. Do you like the colorful rug? I really like the colorful rug.
But I love this green one.
You like the green the most? I like all the colors. It's got the colors of the rainbow. So let's see. Duncan leaned out of the window and waved to his parents in the garden below. "Thank you," yelled Duncan. See, it has like a proper window like a house would do. It opens outwards as well. My, would any of y'all like to have a tree house like this? How many of y'all have been on a tree house? I would love to know. Any of y'all? Sasha hasn't been on a tree house. Has anyone here been on a tree house? Do let us know. I'll put up a sign so that everyone will know whose house it is, said Duncan. He carved Duncan's tree house with his penknife on a piece of wood and painted it. So see, he's taken a plank of wood.
My favorite color.
He's painted it Sasha's favorite color, which is green, if anyone hasn't guessed till now. He's written his name on it and he's painted it. Then he nailed it to the handrail outside his front door. Duncan's tree house. Now see, just like we have name boards outside our houses with our names on it, Duncan thought it would be nice if he puts one outside his tree house too. Duncan spent most of his time in the tree house. He pinned posters on the wall, he put toys in the tin box and books in the bookshelf. He played with his monsters from a Lost Planet game, his space shuttle and his remote control buggy. He didn't have to tidy them away. See? He's like playing with so many toys, and the best part is he didn't have to tidy them away.
What?
Because it is only his playroom. No one else is coming there. So he can leave them how they like. But he should neaten them. No, it would be nice so he finds things easily next time. Sometimes his mother gave him a picnic so that he could stay in the treehouse all day. My God, let's see what his picnic basket has. It has some sandwiches. It has an apple, a banana, an orange, yes. And it has a flask which probably has some juice or some milk. Isn't that exciting? How many of y'all have been on a picnic, if not a tree house? We've been on picnics, no, Sasha? We have.
No, we don't.
Imagine going for a picnic on a tree house. Wouldn't that be be so much more exciting.
And look at the squirrel.
And yes, there is a squirrel peeping in to see what is happening. It's nice. He could play his radio as loud as he liked, and there was no one to tell him to turn the music down. So see, he's taken a little radio up to his tree house, and he is even dancing there, and he can play the music as loud as he wants.
And look at the squirrel in the
And there is a squirrel running there as well. Yes. Sasha always points out the finer details in books which I sometimes miss. But if he wanted a nice restful silence, there was no one to disturb him either. So see, he's done with his playing with
Mommy,
his
what are
toys.
these?
Posters, Sasha.
No, these.
They're posters, of spaceships and everything. So he's done with playing with his toys. He's had a dance. He's had a picnic. Now he wants to just have some quiet time. So he's lying down and he's reading a book. See, that's his bookshelf with a load of books on it. Isn't that nice? And look, he's painted a picture of a tree also
And look
here.
at the boots.
And look at the books, yes.
And look at the boots.
The boats, yes. He's kept 2 toy boats as well. And there's a ball as well. He's really got himself comfortable here, no? Look at that, my God. What a big green toy.
And it's my favorite color.
Sometimes,
Mommy, it's my
yes.
favorite color.
Sometimes Duncan watched the birds and squirrels through his father's binoculars. When he didn't know the names of the birds, he looked them up in his bird book. See, some pretty birds here. And because he's in a tree, he's closer to them.
Squirrel.
As long as he doesn't startle them.
Look,
Yes,
squirrel.
squirrel. That's the squirrel there. Sometimes he drew pictures of the view from the tree. He could watch a neighbor hanging out the washing, the boats on the river, and the tractors in the field. So see, because he's sitting up in a tree, he's really high and he's got a good view of everything around him. And he
But why did
apparently
he get
likes
up so
drawing.
high?
He likes drawing. So whatever he sees around his house, he likes to draw. Isn't that a pretty picture? A red tractor, a boat, and the neighbor's washing. Nice and colorful this is. One day, Duncan had an idea. I want to spend the night in the treehouse, said Duncan. His parents weren't sure. Are you sure that's a good idea, Duncan? Asked his father. Are you sure you won't be lonely all by yourself? Asked his mother. Duncan was sure. Duncan put extra blankets on the camp bed. He borrowed a big torch from his father and checked the batteries in his pocket torch. And he packed up a midnight feast in case he got hungry in the night. He couldn't wait for bedtime. Wow, so now this is becoming a picnic in the night as well. And an adventure. Let's see what he does. I'm off now, said Duncan after supper. His mother gave him a flask of cocoa and a hot water bottle. A flask of cocoa in case he feels thirsty in the night, and a hot water bottle to keep him warm and cozy. It could get chilly in the night. No, it could get more cold. So that's why Duncan took extra blankets, and his mama gave him a hot water bottle as well as a flask of cocoa to keep him nice and warm and snuggly. Take Buster with you, said his mother. Buster is big and brave. You'll feel safer with him. So that's his dog Buster, who's very excited at the thought of going up onto the treehouse with him. Look at his tail wagging. See, it's going wag, wag, wag. He's like, yes, Buster, please can I come along? Please take me. Buster was fat and unused to ladders. Duncan coaxed and wheedled and pushed and pulled. In the end, he had to heave him up step by step. Now, dogs aren't used to ladders, no. They are used to climbing steps and stairs, but not ladders. So, obviously, Duncan had little bit of a trouble taking him up. But somehow, some way, pushing up Duncan, pulling up Duncan, he managed to take him up. See, he's actually carrying him up that ladder. Oh, not very easy. Wow, look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Duncan put on his pajamas and his dressing gown. There wasn't any running water at the treehouse, so he didn't have to wash or clean his teeth. He sat outside his front door and read a book until it grew dark. Isn't that a beautiful sight? I think the sun is setting and he's reading by the sunset between the trees with some birds and squirrels for company. And look at Duncan. Is he making friends with the squirrel?
That's Buster.
Sorry. Look at Buster. Sorry. He's making friends with the squirrel. Isn't this beautiful? I would love to do this. I would really love to be up on a tree house with the sunset, with a book in my hands, not to forget that. Time for bed, said Duncan. He switched on the torch. It was a powerful torch. See, what a big beam of light. That's quite a big torch, no? Good he brought it along. It was a powerful torch, but the light didn't reach into the corners. Tall black shadows sprang and danced across the room. Yes, Sasha, we'll come to it.
What monster?
Yes. I expect we'll feel cozier in bed, said Duncan. So he got a bit worried with the big shadows, but he knew that they're only shadows because of the light, and he told Buster, don't worry, we'll be more comfortable in bed. So they get into bed, and oh my God, who is that?
Monster.
Is that a tree monster? The bed faced the window. There were no curtains. Outside was inky black. Suppose something horrible climbs up the ladder and peers through the window, thought Duncan. Something terrible with yellow eyes and great pointed teeth. Look at Duncan's imagination getting the better of him. He knows there's no thing like that, but his imagination is just running away with whatever thoughts he is having. Crash! Something thumped against the window pane. Duncan put his head under the bedclothes. It was only a moth, attracted by the light. Oh, it was only a little moth that came and banged on the glass. When he fell asleep, Duncan had a nightmare about wolves.
It's Buster.
Howled the wolves as they chased him through a forest. Duncan woke up, but the howling didn't stop. It was Buster who was howling. He was scratching at the door.
He had a bone.
Yes, he has a bone to keep him busy in the night. Buster wanted to go out. Getting a fat dog up a ladder in daylight is one thing. Getting a fat dog down a ladder in the dark and carrying a torch is another. Oh, imagine the tough time Duncan had. He's not used to going up and down the ladder in the dark, holding a torch and a dog. So that must have been quite a challenge to bring him down. But he had to bring him down. When they reached the ground, Buster waddled off into the darkness. "Come back, Buster!" cried Duncan. "Come back! Come back!" Duncan's voice echoed through the trees as he stumbled through the undergrowth. Black clouds scuttled across the moon. The night was alive with hootings and screechings and rustlings. A great white owl swooped out of the shadows. Branches clawed at Duncan. Brambles tore his clothes. My God, see that big white owl seems to be chasing him. And look at this owl looking at him through the...
And look at his fox.
And look at this fox. My God, he's really giving him a sly look. Something was moving through the bushes. A grunting something. A huge, heavily breathing something, snapping twigs as it came nearer and nearer. Duncan fled back towards the tree house. The something followed close behind him. Crash! Duncan missed his footing in the darkness and landed face downwards in a bramble patch, dropping his torch. "Help!" cried Duncan as the something landed on top of him. Oopsie! What was it? Was it the owl? Or do you think it was the fox? Or was it this hedgehog? I hope it wasn't the mouse. Oh, let's turn the page and find out what landed on him. It was Buster.
And look, his one shoe went off.
And his one shoe fell off when he was running, and his torch also fell. That's okay, but it was just Buster. Buster's giving him a great big lick to make him feel safe. The treehouse felt welcoming and safe. Duncan sat up in bed and ate a bar of chocolate. Chocolate in the night? "You don't deserve any chocolate," Duncan told Buster, but he gave him a piece all the same. Crack! The treehouse was lit by a great flash of lightning. Boom! Boom! Thunder rolled overhead. Then came the steady hiss of rain. The rain became a deluge. It lashed against the window and drummed on the roof. The treehouse shook and shuddered with every thunderclap. Buster was afraid of thunderstorms. He clung to Duncan while the storm raged over the treehouse. "This is the worst night of my entire life," said Duncan. "My God, aren't the two friends having quite an adventure with going up and down the ladder and sort of getting lost in the woods near their house, and then poor Duncan being chased, even if just by Buster, and then the rain and the lightning and the thunderstorm and the noise and the shaking and the shuddering of the tree house. I don't think this is what Duncan had in mind when he wanted to spend the night at the tree house. Just look at this. Can you all see that? Can you all see the bolt of lightning? And the raindrops too look really big, no? Even the owl seems frightened. My God, what's going to come of Duncan? When Duncan awoke, the sun was streaming through the window. The birds in the tree were singing and bickering and calling to each other. "Wake up," said Duncan. "It's a beautiful morning." Duncan and Buster sat outside the front door and shared the midnight feast. So see, they had some...
Look, a squirrel is taking.
A squirrel is also looking for something to eat.
Squirrel is taking it.
He's taking the basket.
Yes.
Okay, I think he's looking for something to eat. The basket may be too big for him. So see, they made a little meal out of the snacks that they had got in the night. And that's Duncan enjoying his hot cocoa amidst some lovely birds. Duncan watched a fisherman on the river bank and the swallows swooping over the water. A breeze rustled the leaves of the tree. There was a smell of damp earth and everything looked fresh and sparkling after the rain. So see, after that heavy downpour the previous night, everything in the morning looked brighter and cleaner and prettier. So something good did come of that heavy shower. "Breakfast time, Duncan." It was his mother calling from the foot of the ladder. "Did you have a good night in your tree house, Sasha?" "Brilliant," said Duncan. So the next morning, Duncan realizes that what happened the previous night was just an adventure, and in its own way, it was a lot of fun. So when his mama asked him, "Did you have a good time?" what did Duncan have to say? He said, "Yes, I did. It was a brilliant night."
Okay, now can I do the hive?
Yes. Okay, you can do the hive. So how many... do it from your face. So how many of y'all want to spend a night or even a day in the tree house now after this? Do let me know. How many of y'all would be adventurous enough